All right, and welcome back to the Afterthoughts podcast. The Afterthoughts podcast is where we talk about the most recent boot from the recent episode. So in this case, it is the premiere, and the Afterthoughts podcast is obviously a CNC podcast. So today we have on CJ, first boot of Prometheus. How are you doing today, CJ?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. So, let's just dive right into it. So, let's talk about your experience on Prometheus. What did you think of it, especially given that you were seriously like a last minute replacement?
Yeah, so can I just get into it? I got a phone call like probably 9 o'clock in the morning. It was like, hey, we got this show. We need someone. Like, can you do it? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. So I hop on the show. It's so hot in my house. I'm so hungover. And there's like all these people who are like, yeah, it's 4:30 in the morning where I live. I'm up and ready to go. Like I set my alarm for this. I'm in the basement of my house. Like there's no desk down here. I wasn't gonna sit at my work desk. There's no desk down here, so I'm just sitting there like lounging, like barely able to function. And all these people are just like ready to go. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I am totally one, probably killing some vibes, and two, just not really in the headspace for this at this moment. So yeah, it was definitely being a late scratch, or early scratch, whatever you want to call it. It was definitely unique just because I was on a different wavelength as everyone else on the show was. Like I was just like walking into this, and everyone I felt like maybe was a little bit more prepared, ready to go, and and that definitely played a role in what happened in the show.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, even in the episode, we get to see that you go on to say that as the game went on, you started to get into it. So, I mean, out of curiosity, at what point did you really start to feel the game? Because also, if I'm not mistaken, you don't really watch reality competitions, as well as you've never played an org. And so you like had no clue really anything about this. But like, yeah, what was your thoughts on that? Like, when did you really start to get into it and kind of pick up what the game was?
Yeah, for me, I think the coolest part, the initial stuff, like I didn't really gel them. You know what I mean? The breakout rooms and stuff that wasn't really my vibe. But the games I thought were fun. The first challenge, the maze, I thought that was a lot of fun. Just like the creativity involved, because like you said, I'm not involved in the org online reality game scene. I don't know how you guys did your contest, did your competitions. I'm familiar with how a challenge would look like on Survivor or another reality show, but it was always interesting to me how that would work virtually. So the maze was cool at first. Like I appreciate that. It seemed like doable. It seemed like okay, like there's actually some skill, there's some competition involved. That was interesting. And then when the actual Prometheus themed challenge, I don't know what which one that would be called. Oh, when the two tribes went against each other.
Yeah, Thalia's Hunt, the video challenge.
Yeah, the video challenge. I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. Honestly, I thought the challenges one were really creative and well put together. All the little different I don't even know what you call them prompts. Yeah, all the little different prompts. I really thought they were cool. And I wish I was a little more into it. At that point, I kind of felt like I knew I was getting voted out if we lost, just because I didn't talk to anybody. I was like half asleep. Um, but I was like, oh, like this could actually be kind of fun. I wish I had the props. Like I said, I was a late arrival. But that was a ton of fun. And to top it all off, I did end up, notching a point on the scoreboard for my team. So I when that happened and I saw that, I was like, oh, this could actually be kind of fun. And I kind of got into it, and like I enjoyed doing that. And I'll be looking forward to seeing what other challenges consist of as the show progresses.
All right, yeah. So, I mean, once again, I'm just really happy that you did fill in last minute, and that was actually another thing I was going to ask too that you just mentioned about you kind of knowing that you were probably going to get voted out. Which I was curious about that. Was it truly a blind side? Because also from what I've heard about what happened in the messaging portion, you were told to vote Mara, but you ended up voting Kyle. So I wasn't sure like if it was truly a blind side, like what was going on, why you switched to Kyle.
Uh, I, no real reason. I don't recall being told to vote more. I know she was shopped around, but I thought it was kind of messed up that she was getting shopped around just because, like, oh, it's like she has bad internet connection. Plus, like, I know enough about reality shows to know that the older people, the people with children, are the ones that are always ganged up on teams. So, like, I knew there was talk of Mara in my breakout room of voting her out, but I wasn't gonna do that. So, like, and I knew kind of at the expense of me that, like, yeah, maybe if I worked harder at it, maybe we could have, flipped the switch. Maybe I could have showed some energy, showed some engagement, and maybe I could have, with the other young people, like, flipped that switch and voted out more. But I didn't feel right doing that just because it seemed like the reasons we were voting her out were, the wrong reasons. You know what I mean? Because she was engaged, she was in the show. So I didn't feel comfortable, especially being a late arrival, like some people carved out their schedule. I didn't feel comfortable voting out Mara or even in charge to vote out Mara just because, she was in the show, she was engaged. She did everything that I didn't do. And, when her name got brought up, I was like, okay, maybe they're gonna send her home. But I didn't feel comfortable working that just because she was all in, you know what I mean? And I wasn't.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, hopefully you do end up playing future game. I mean, obviously, I know you in real life. So I know how you are socially, and I think you could actually do relatively well in these games. I know you're a smart guy too. So I mean, I would love to see you play in a future game. Who knows, maybe even a second chances season for
Oh,
Prometheus. But yeah, so I guess one last thing. With everything that you saw in the episodes, and it's an opportunity I want to give all the players who had been voted from the game. Did you feel as if what was shown was fair? Was there anything you had wish was shown at all?
no, I didn't. So you're asking me if I had an issue with my edit?
Yeah, essentially.
No, no. I think everything was fair. I think it could have been harsher. I was expecting like a montage with just crickets and like me asleep. I was expecting about 2 minutes, dedicated to just me like being on my phone or not paying attention or being asleep. So I thought the edit was actually fairly friendly. In terms of the content and everything, I actually think a lot of the major beats were hit. In terms of the stuff that I remember happening in the show, I got some shine getting the point in the challenge, and I also got some shine in the maze. So no, I actually thought I looked like a primetime player, to be honest.
All right. Well, I'm happy to hear that. Like I said, I pretty much want to give all the players the opportunity to, speak out, because for each cycle of the game, obviously we get rid of one person. But there is probably a total between all the rooms, the challenges, the temple, and everyone's confessionals. There's probably around 4 hours worth of content to handle. And so, I mean, stuff has to get cut. I mean, that's in any, reality competition. So once again, I just want to give everyone the opportunity to speak out, and hopefully it's not negative. I don't think I treated anyone unfairly in the edit. So in their edits, for all the episodes. But yeah, I just want to give people the opportunity. But on that note, any final thoughts before we conclude this?
No, I'll be looking forward to see how it shakes out. I think I have a good idea who takes on the win, just based on my experience. But I'll keep it to myself. Maybe I'll send you a text with it, and you can let everyone know at the end if I was right. Um, yeah, but no. Best of luck to everyone. I'll be tuned in. I can't wait to see how it shakes down.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you, Colin or CJ, for coming on. And thank you for everyone who listened. If you can like, comment, and subscribe to the podcast, that'd be greatly appreciated. And we'll see you on the next one. Bye.